Hey, everybody, and welcome to Ask Caswell. We're, excuse me, I have to clean my screen here. We're coming to you live on a lot of platforms tonight. We're trying this out new. We're on the Mesquamaket Beach Facebook page live. We are on Westerly Live. We are on the Caswell Cook Show page. We're on Caswell's page. And this is a very special episode tonight because we're bringing you a person tonight who is known to the whole world around, but he also is a dear friend of Mesquamaket Beach, because he was here last year to play a concert and to bring the General Lee and sign some autographs and stuff. And we're going to hopefully have him back. In fact, we're going to have him back this year at Fall Fest in September. So my producer, Ben, will let me know when we've connected with our guest tonight, which is Tom Wopat from the Dukes of Hazzard and from all sorts of...
Oh, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Well, then just bring him on. Let's just go. Modern media. What's going on, Tom?
I look so white and you look so tan. That's not fair.
Well, because I was out in the sun today. What are you doing?
No, you have lighting. You're in a studio. That's why.
What's that light above your head? That looks pretty good.
Well, that's like a heat lamp above my sink here at the cabin.
It looks like you're in an interrogation chamber from this distance.
Well, then it should be in my face. I have like a little light here on the table.
Hey, so
How you doing,
I'm doing great. We want to welcome Tom Wopat, who everybody knows from all sorts of wonderful things, from the Dukes of Hazzard to most recently, he was in Madam Secretary, and we can call him Senator now if we want to. Senator Wopat. Uh-oh, we froze up. How does that work, Ben?
Hopefully he is in a cabin somewhere. So let's see if he's back. Let's cross our fingers.
It's a live stream, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Bringing you live.
Tom.
Why don't you take both of you off the screen and work on it and bring him back when he comes on, and I'll talk to the audience. So, as you see, we're broadcasting live here from Westerly, and Tom is in an undisclosed location somewhere in New York, and his internet feed might not be as good as we want it to be. But you're watching Ask Caswell, which is a show that comes on all the time, every night since this whole COVID-19 crisis has started. It's been kind of a fun thing for us to do, to be able to bring a show every night. And I want to thank my past guests, which have included Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee. We had Denny Lane from the Moody Blues and Wings. We had Terry Sylvester from the Hollies. And coming up this week, we've got a great lineup. Tomorrow night, we have Grammy-nominated and co-founder of Roomful of Blues, Greg Piccolo. Wednesday, we have Mrs. Royce, Deborah Royce. Thanks, Christine. Deborah Royce, who was, it must have been something I said, right? Deborah Royce, who people might know from the soap All My Children, but also she wrote a bestseller this past year called Finding Mrs. Ford. So she's on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, the legendary Billy J. Kramer. Now, Billy J. was one of the three artists that was managed at the time of the Beatles by Brian Epstein. And he had a couple of hits that were written for him by John Lennon. One of them was called Bad to Me. And he had a bunch of hits in the 1960s. And he's rock and roll royalty, so he's going to be here on Thursday. And then Friday night, no stranger to Mesquamaket Beach, the man who had a great hit in 1979 with a song called Romeo's Tune, Meet Me in the Middle of the Night, Let Me Hear You Say Everything's All Right. Steve Forbert is going to be our guest here on Friday night, which is pretty amazing. He's got a brand new song out about social distancing. He's going to play that, and then we're going to play you an old clip from Mesquamaket Beach of when Steve was at Tunes on the Dunes, and he played Romeo's Tune live for us all in front of a huge crowd. And then coming up next week, we have Susan Cowsill from the Cowsills. We're working on a date with her. We have a standing invitation to the governor of Rhode Island to come on. And when her schedule allows, she will be on. And then also we have Joey Mullen from the legendary band Badfinger. So we're looking pretty good. Tonight, I'm going to be having a conversation with Tom Wopat from the Dukes of Hazzard. Tom is hooking up a hotspot. He will be right back. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool. So Tom Wopat, right? Let me tell you a couple stories about Tom. I got my autographed picture here of him back in the Dukes of Hazzard days with the General Lee. And Tom, I called him last year about this time, maybe a little before, and said, I'd love you to have you come to Fall Fest and sign autographs. And he's also a great musician, and he's going to play songs for us tonight. And so let me just get back on my page here so that I can be live in the moment. So Tom's going to he's going to talk about his musical career. He's had a bunch of country hits as well. My favorite is Too Many Honky Tonks on My Way Home. We have quite a few people watching us tonight, which is great. And we got, let's see, we got my mom's watching, and Chris and Vinny Scaramuzzo and Christine and Jackson and Kristen and Debbie. Let's see, who else is? Mark's watching. Grace is watching. So we have quite a great audience. So when Tom gets his hotspot, he'll be back on and we'll hear some songs from him. So he does a lot of great songs. His most recent album is called just Wopat, and he's got a mixture of original songs on there and cover songs. He does a great Bruce Hornsby cover, you know, the song That's Just the Way It Is, which is pretty cool when he does that song live. And we had him play at Musqueamicut Beach. I sang Margaritaville, and I sang the Waylon Jennings song, Just a Good Old Boy. So we did that. And then he played at the Kate a few months ago, and it was an unbelievable performance to see him in a setting like that, where he's able to play just a wide range of songs. He was accompanied by a piano player for this one, and he was doing show tunes, and he was doing original songs. He was doing cover songs. And if you've never had the opportunity to see Tom Wopat live in concert, and look, I recommend you do so. His performances are always great, and he's pretty cool like that. So if anybody has any questions about things that are going on, let me know. Hey, Mia's watching us. Mia's tuned in. Janet, Anthony, Tony, Alicio, a great drummer who's played at our Musqueamicut Festival before with various bands over the years. And of course, he was part of the famous Rhode Island Storm. And the other thing that we're working on, because we've been friends with Tom Wopat now for a while, and he's really spent a lot of time with us over the past year. We wrote a song that my band Soulstone is working on in the studio right now about Tom, and it's called Wopat's Doritos. Now, I know that sounds strange, but he had his trailer, and he had all this food in the trailer, and I told my band, don't go in his trailer and don't touch his food. And of course, my guitar player and good friend and vocalist Roger Walsh went in and stole his Doritos, and our bass player took a picture of that. Do I sell Caswell t-shirts? It's a must. I don't. But I do have the Dell's shirt on tonight because my friend Mike is watching, Mike Graneri, who owns Dell's, and it's a business in Rhode Island. We want to promote businesses here in Rhode Island. I see Steve is watching. Steve, stay tuned, because we're going to, as soon as we get the hot spot from somewhere in upstate New York, we're going to have Tom Wopat back on screen. Tom from the Dukes of Hazzard fame, as well as a Tony Award nominee, Annie Got Your Gun, and movies he's been in. County Line was his most recent movie a year and a half ago. And as I said, when he first came on the screen before we lost him, he was in an episode a few months ago of Madam's Secretary, which was really, really cool. So we're hoping that we're going to get this hot spot worked out. I'm not sure if my producer Ben's going to come on and tell me what's going on. He's just making me talk and talk and talk. We're also live on the.
He called me and he said, have Caswell bullshit for a few minutes, and I'm getting a hotspot set up, and I'll be right back. Here, you know what? Do you want to play a video real quick?
Do you have the one of me and him singing?
I have the Dukes theme.
All right, go ahead. We'll do it. We'll do it as we wait. And we're also part of the Cody. Thank you for having us on the New England Dukes of Hazzard fan club too, as well. We appreciate that. So Tom Wopat. We're waiting on some technical difficulties, but he's going to be on. Let's play the video. Sure.
Reach out, never saw me in trouble.
Okay. Not sure what that was, but that was pretty
No.
good. That
I
we're
have
starting
something
to
better.
watch.
I have something better.
Hey.
Oh, you have something better.
So they.
Hey, there he is. It's Tom.
So he says it's hard. Well, my tech
Except
skills.
now I can't hear Tom, Ben.
Okay, let's see here. You're in the show. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me what.
Everyone
That's a
can hear you.
That's a Caswell problem. That's a Caswell
So
problem. All right. So, Tom, I'm going to do an interview with you real quick while Caswell comes out because he's an idiot. So you are at an undisclosed location right now.
I'm in North Jersey.
I love it. How are you doing with the quarantine?
Well, I kind of split my time between I have an apartment in New York with my wife and on the Upper West Side, and I spend a couple days there, and then I get up in the morning and drive out here and do some work out here. It's a log cabin in North Jersey. So I work out here for a couple days, and then I head back to town.
That's
well,
awesome.
we appreciate that you took the time to be with us tonight, Tom. And, since all the audience has been building here online and waiting, and I see you have your guitar, let's just start with a song that you want to play us.
Oh, dear God. Well, here's an original tune. Let's see. I hope this hangs on, this connection. You ever have the dream where you could fly? In the Cameron film, people fly and fill the sky. I wept and wondering why. Why can't I? You realize how much we're blessed. Hi, Robin. Praise the Lord. To hell with the rest. Those with the most, they ain't got it best. Can't let it rest. So I kiss the wife, tend to the garden, feed the cat, play my guitar, lay me down for a chance to dream of flying. Things that move us most are fear and love. One comes at you from below, the other from above. Can't say which one I'm most wary of. Push comes to shove. Then comes a night when you can't sleep. Frustration's enough to make you weep. The cost of our sins is pretty steep. They don't come cheap. But I close my eyes, recite the Lord's Prayer. He's all wise, he's always right there. Lay me down, a chance to dream of flying. I feel we all aspire to age with grace, maintaining dignity as time gives chase, earning more than lines upon the face, our proper place, a state of grace. So I open my eyes, see it all so clearly. The fear, the lies I held so dearly, but now I'm free. Finally, I'm flying. I'm flying. I'm flying. With Kaz, I'm flying. grade. All right.
That's awesome. Hey, of all the guests we've had on in the past few weeks, so we're getting a little better at this every night. That sounded the clearest. You and we had Jonathan Edwards on Saturday night, and he sounded really good too. So I don't know what you got there for a computer, but it's pretty good.
Oh, it's what is it? A MacBook Air.
Ah, it's awesome. And now that you got the hotspot figured out, we're live and cooking. Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for.
and I have a DS35. It's an old Martin.
Oh, I love it.
From the 60s.
So we saw you play here at where we're coming from, Musqueamica Beach, and you did a great show. And then we got to see you at the Cape Theater in a much more intimate setting in a theater. And I was blown away, Tom. I mean, I've known your music for years, but my wife and I were like, oh my God, man. And some of those original songs of yours, great lyrics. And that I commend that album, Wopat, to all the people out there watching right now.
Well, we had a lot of fun making it. And, I've been writing on and off for about 30 years and mostly off. But every now and then I'll crank out something that I think is decent. And I had recorded 3 or 4 before now, but this last album, the Wopat album, I recorded like 5 songs on there. And 2 of them were fairly new, and 3 of them were old timers, like story songs. But they're a lot of fun, and I think I got something to say.
Mary said, "I saw you in Broadway. Annie, Get Your Gun" with Bernadette Peters. I think great.
I see that. Yeah. Well, that was. I mean, Bernadette. Bernadette's a terrific actress and a wonderful singer and a great kisser, as a matter of fact.
That's some good news. I like that.
Well, you got work. You got to do what you got to do.
Stephanie says she loves your music, Tom. Someone else chimed in that they love the Wopat album. You got a lot of fans out there over the years. It's amazing, though, when I talk about you to different people, and of course they know your stuff from the Dukes, but when they hear about some of this music stuff, they're like, I didn't know. And I mean, it's like, you've been playing music. How long have you been making records?
Well, I think my first record would have been about 1982. And then I did one with Mike Post on the West Coast. And then after the show was over, I moved to Nashville for 10 years. And I did 2 records with a guy named Jerry Crutchfield, who's a pretty well-known producer there. And then one with Rick Hall from Muscle Shoals, Fame Records, Fame Studios, which, if you look it up, I mean, they recorded more stuff there. Aretha recorded there about people.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, the Muscle Shoals horn section, the Muscle Shoals rhythm section they're famous. So I did that down there, and then let's see. Oh, once I moved to New York again in '98, once I started on Annie Get Your Gun, they asked me if I wanted to make a Frank Sinatra record. And I said, yeah, I wish. So we started doing, American Songbook songs. And I did the first one with Russ Titleman, who was a Grammy Award winner, producer. And then after that, I've been producing my own records, basically. There's a guy named David Fink, who's a bass player, who produced a couple of things for me. But I did a record, Harold Arlen record, with a guy named Ben Sidran, who's a jazzer from Madison, who used to be in a band with Steve Miller and Boz Scaggs. These guys were in a band at the University of Wisconsin.
Wow.
They're a couple years older than I am, but serious cats. And then we made a record called Consider It Swung. And then I Got Your Number. And then the thing with Schneider, the Christmas record, which is full of both smart talk and
I have a copy of that one.
record. Huh?
I have a copy of the Christmas one. I remember you gave it to me.
Johnny Is Cold Outside.
So tell me about
The bromance record.
Bromance record. So tell me about over the years. I mean, obviously the Dukes were on from 79 to 85, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And then it took on a life of its own, and you still are in demand to go and sign people's autographs. People just want to take photos with you. They want to see you with John or Catherine. What's that experience like? I mean, do you ever get tired of it? Like, oh God.
Oh, sure. But I mean,
you do.
It's one of those things that you can't. you can't deny it or disavow it. You know, it's one of those things that we're blessed to be involved with a show that's become iconic. You know, like the Andy Griffith Show, or you know, Star Trek, or any of those things, Star Wars, the big movie franchises. The Dukes is kind of like that, and the show has a lot of staying power. You know, we do these things. Ben Jones, who played Cooter on the show, he and his wife opened a bunch of stores called Cooters, and they're so much fun. I mean, and they're basically, it's all Dukes of Hazzard paraphernalia and merchandise. And I go sign autographs. There's 3 of them, so I go sign at each one once a year, and usually do a concert here or there. I'm looking to do a big concert this year in Nashville, and we're going to call it Hazzard County Christmas at Cooters. And
I like it.
We're going to film it, and I'm also going to invite all the existing cast members to a big dinner, and we're going to film that too. So it'll be a party, and will be a film will come out of it. A lot like, let's see, The Last Waltz. Remember that?
With the band.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Wasn't that Martin Scorsese though?
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a Wopat production, so God only knows.
So the last time we talked, thank you for being on my TV show, which by the way got over 50,000 views online, which was really cool for me. And I never asked you what you thought of the Dukes of Hazzard movie that came out.
You know what? I never saw it.
Really?
And I didn't see it on purpose. I mean, from the little bits and pieces that I've heard and seen, they kind of missed the idea of what the show is about. And I think the movie became more of a slacker movie, where these guys really were just slackers and just kind of hanging out and getting their kicks whenever they could. And that's not what we were about. I mean, we were more of trying to do the right thing and looking after family. And even if Boss and Roscoe got into trouble, we'd take care of them because we considered them part of our extended family. And I told people that if I went and watched that movie, it'd be like watching my ex-wife go on a date. It didn't make any sense to me.
I understand.
You
I
have
get
an ex-wife?
No, I have ex people, but I have only one wife.
Good
so
for
far.
you. Good
No,
for
it's
you.
gonna be forever. Well, I waited till I was like 44 to get married. So
Oh, there you go.
I picked the right person.
She's obviously tolerant. Yes.
That's right, she is. So tell us of all the songs of all the genres you record and stuff. You started out country, and you had told me before that was kind of obviously because the Dukes, it might have put you in that
Right.
genre. And you had hits. You had legit great hits on country radio. So and then when you went to the Consider It Swung, and then now you're kind of back to, I would say, folky, rocky.
Right. More singer-songwriter stuff is really kind of what I'm looking at now.
So when someone goes to a Wopat concert, what do they get?
They get a little bit of everything. They will definitely get some original tunes because I'm pretty proud of them. And I think that original music always shows kind of the soul of the artist a little more than covering somebody else's tunes. But when I cover other people's tunes, I mean, I try to service the song. You know, I really don't. I'm not a Mariah Carey.
No?
No, I don't embellish and really make it all about my voice. And that's no, I don't mean any disrespect. She's got an amazing instrument. It's just that's not the way I approach singing. I want to sell the song to the best of my ability. And so if I sing Over the Rainbow, I'm going to sing it the way I feel it. Or if I'm going to sing Come Rain or Come Shine, again, it's the same thing. I'm going to sing what it means to me and hopefully kind of, give that feeling to the viewer or the listener. So, I mean, I love singing. I actually love the physical part of singing. I enjoy it very much. And I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I've been singing in public for 60 years now. So, yeah. When I was in the womb, obviously, I was.
Right. Because you're not that old.
Oh, I'll be 70 next year.
Oh, Jesus, like that's just weird. You're not
It is.
supposed to be
It's
70.
too weird. You have no idea. Of course, now during the freeze out now, I can't dye my hair anymore, so the gray's coming in pretty good.
Well, that's all right. So speaking of this whole COVID-19 thing, I mean, obviously you had gigs you had to reschedule, postpone. It's kind of hurting everybody in the music business.
You know what? I mean, that's the least of my worries. I mean, I worry about my mother-in-law is 80 years old. I worry about her. I worry about my relatives. I have older relatives, and I just, I worry about the people that are vulnerable. I mean, again, shit, I'm going to be 70 in a couple of years. I guess I probably come under that, heading. But at the same time, I'm pretty stout, and I don't worry too much. But I don't take any chances. I'm wearing gloves. I'm wearing a mask. I'm doing the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, no, it's important, and at least you got a place to get away out of the city
Yeah.
and to relax. I saw you went on your Facebook page the other day and played a song outside.
Well, yeah, and the thing was, my manager wanted me to have a little message for the fans, and basically what occurs to me is that for our generation, I mean, you're a little younger than I am, but I mean, we've had just a blessed existence. I mean, we've not really run up against anything. The recession, I guess, a little bit, but still nothing like what our parents did with the Depression and the Second World War and Korea and all that stuff. So, I mean, what I told my fans, I said, if my dad could be in Africa for 4 years, being away from my mom and dealing with the Second World War, I can hunker down for a couple of months out here at the cabin and play music and, fire up the fireplace.
I'm glad you think we're in the same generation. Just for the record, you're actually 1 year older than my mom.
Oh my God. I could be your dad. That's frightening.
I didn't want to make you feel old. Hey, listen,
That's all right. Your mom is
friend,
obviously a young, vibrant woman.
she is. She's watching. Roger wants you to tell us a little bit about Waylon Jennings.
Any packing any Doritos, he says. Wopat Doritos. I saw that at the beginning of the show.
The song's almost ready, Tom. But Roger wants to know about, obviously Waylon did the song for the Dukes. Did you get to know him and meet him?
Just two good old boys, never meaning no harm. These songs you never saw any trouble with law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, climbing the hills. Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will. Don't quite have those Waylon notes. Making their way, the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than a law would allow. Just a good old boys. We wouldn't change if we could. That's right. Fight the system like two modern day Robin Hoods. Ba-da-oop-ba-da-da. Yeehaw!
I wasn't even
John Schneider as well.
I wasn't even going to request that one, but boy, you just went right to it. I just mentioned Waylon.
Yeah.
You got to give us a Waylon story. I mean, I know he was on the show. He did the song. What's a personal story you have with him?
Well, he and Jesse actually, one time when they were out there working on the show, I invited him to my house. I had a house in North Hollywood there in San Fernando Valley. So they came over and I made them barbecued ribs.
It's a great story. I like that.
Waylon's in my dining room with me and was it my lovely first wife? Nah, it would have been before her. So, one of my girlfriends, I guess. But Waylon was a good friend and a super songwriter. One of the songs that I always thought was hysterical was the hook is "Get your tongue out of my mouth, I'm kissing you goodbye."
Now, switching gears, tell me about County Line, because my kids watched it, we all watched it, and we thought it was a great movie. We have the DVD if that's still a thing. But tell us about how you got into that movie. It was really good.
Well, they called me up and asked me if I wanted to do it, and I read the script and I thought, shoot, I'm a hero again. Yeah, I can do that. So it's one of those parts where I, drive a car and drive a motorcycle and have a fist fight and shoot a gun and the whole 9 yards. It was a lot of fun to do. It was for the Inspiration Network, so we couldn't cuss.
Well, that's all right because it made it so that I could actually show my kids too.
Well, it wouldn't have been foul either way, but it was a lot of fun to do, and they were a terrific bunch. We had a really good time.
Yeah, well, it was a great movie, and so I recommend it. Look, Ben put it up on the screen so you guys can get it right on Netflix or on Amazon probably. I think that's
where
where
you can go to wopat.com. I'm sure we have some copies.
There you go. That's why we're on here, wopat.com. What else can we find on wopat.com?
Well, you can find the Wopat album. I might do another record this year sometime, but I truly am planning to film that Christmas extravaganza this year. So we'll see.
I can't wait to see that. That'd be great. I'd like to be a fly on the wall, but that's what the videos.
Well, come to the gig. It's going to be in Nashville in December.
I like it. Hey, Eddie says he loves you in the Dukes and the movie Christmas Comes to Willow Creek. Tell us about that movie.
Oh, good God. John and I got cast in that. It's like, I think 1987. And we play brothers in that one. And I think we have a fight. I'm sure I kick his, and
we're on Facebook. You can say ass.
Well, I kick his ass then. It's about taking a truckload of stuff to Alaska. And so the funny part about it was they had a stunt man to drive this big semi called the Yellow Bird. That's what they called the truck. And this guy, there's one scene where we pull off the freeway, slide to a stop and get out and have a fist fight. Well, he pulled off the freeway and slid to a stop and drove right through a picnic table with a bunch of people on it and into the truck where I was standing, the camera truck. And so after that, they fired him and let me drive the truck.
Oh, that's good.
So I did all the driving. Well, I had some experience with a big rig. So,
hey, Steve says he's going to watch the movie tonight because you inspired him. And during COVID-19, we only have time to watch movies. So County Line's a good one. And Grace says, which does Tom like better, acting or music?
Yes. I mean, singing I'm a little more comfortable with, but the acting I enjoy a lot. I did the thing just like a few weeks ago, right before we got locked down. I did an episode of The Blacklist.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. He's a cool cat. The guy who's the star of that show. I cannot think of his name right now. I'm senile. Ugh.
Well, you said you're going to be 70, which blows my mind. And then you said we were like the same age, so that kind of made me mad. No,
I didn't mean.
I'm 45.
Former generations had to deal with a lot more shit than we have.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. So let me ask you this: on the new album, is it going to be all Wopat originals, or are you going to sort of pick and choose some covers like
it's going to be before? The same thing? And Spader is the guy I was thinking of. It was the guy who's the star of Blacklist.
Thanks,
but, yeah, the next record is going to be the same thing. It'll be like 4 or 5 original tunes. I already have a couple in mind. Well, probably 3 of them in mind. I got to write a couple. But then there's other things too that I've been playing. I've been doing that James Taylor tune. What is it? Down on Copper Line.
Oh yeah, you want to play it for us?
Oh, good God! I'll play it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's a long song.
Yeah.
Even the old folks, they never knew why they call it like they do. I was wondering since the age of 2, down on Copper Line. Copperhead, Copper Beach, Copper Kettle sitting side by each. Copper Core, Copper Georgia Peach, down on Copper Line. Half a mile down the Morgan Creek, I'm only living for the end of the week. Hercules and a hog-nosed snake down on Copper Line. We were down on Copper Line. First kiss ever I took, like a page from a romance book. The sky opened and the earth shook, down on Copper Line. Took a fall from a windy height, I only knew how to hold on tight. Pray for love enough to last all night, down on Copper Line. We were down on Copper Line. Join me down on Copper Line. Come on down to Copper Line. It's the mini version.
I like it, Tom. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. I wanted to ask you if you had the opportunity to be in any type of a new show that came on TV, something that you could even write yourself. What's the kind of idea? What would appeal to the 70-year-old Tom Wopat to be in a leading role?
You know
what?
I sat down and watched. I mean, because we have time to watch everything now. I watched Lonesome Dove. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
You know what Lonesome Dove is?
A little bit.
Yeah,
but refresh us.
Jones and Robert Duvall.
Yes.
And I mean, if there was something like that around where I could play the Robert Duvall part, either part, I would kill for it. I mean, it's like 7 hours of the best television Western you'll ever see.
I love it.
I mean, that's kind of how I spend my afternoons a lot these days, is watching Gunsmoke. And then Bonanza's on after that. I kind of in and out of that a little bit. But after Bonanza is Rifleman. And those are really good shows. And then Wagon Train after that.
Wow. So we know where to find you in the afternoon. So no soap operas for
classic
you.
Westerns. I mean, what surprised me is how good the writing is. How good the stories are. They're better than 95% of the sitcoms that we watched in the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you did a Western, Django.
I did a Western with Django. Yeah, the Django. That was a blast. I was just thinking about that today. Somebody was talking about Kerry Washington on the radio, and that might have been the most fun. I mean, along with County Line, that's the most fun I've had since Dukes.
That's cool. Yeah, it was a great movie, and you had a great part. You were a sheriff, I think.
Marshall.
Oh, there! Look, there you are.
There I am. Yep. And he's telling me that I owe him $200 when I think I'm going to hang the son of a bitch.
Well, that was a good Quentin Tarantino film. And before we go, just tell the Quentin Tarantino story, because I know you've told it before, but there's a lot of people watching. And also, by the way, we're also simulcasting on the New England Dukes fan club page, because our friend Cody Roy hooked us up with that. So we're more than just on my page. But so tell us about how Tarantino was on the set and how the actor who played Roscoe used to teach him.
You just told it. Actually,
well, come on.
James Best was played Roscoe Coltrane on the show. And while he was doing the show, after the first couple of years, I think, he started teaching a class. And he might have been teaching it the whole time. I wasn't aware. But I know that he taught, and it's right there in Burbank. And so Tarantino, when he was a teenager, I guess 18 or 19 years old, when he was, I mean, it's pretty famous that he was hanging out he was renting movies, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
He worked in a movie rental place. And so he would take the bus up to Burbank, and he would study with Jim, and then Jim let him sleep in the classroom and then come to Warner Brothers the next day and hang out on the set. So we never knew or thought anything of it, this kid, wandering around. But then years and years later, he asked his casting director to check me out, and so I went into the casting director to meet her in New York, and I wore basically the same outfit I wear in the movie, black, and I come on and I do the same thing, because basically the character is a one-trick pony. He comes out, he's a real hard ass. He's got this guy dead to rights. He's got the whole place covered with rifles all over the place. There's no place a guy can go. And it's all a setup for the joke of that the guy that he killed is wanted for rustling. So I owe him money instead of me taking him and arresting him and not cheating the hangman in my town. So it was a lot of fun, and he was really terrific to me. Christoph Waltz and Jamie Foxx were great. We had a blast.
That's awesome. Hey, Tom, thanks for sharing your stories tonight and keeping us occupied during the COVID-19 crisis. I'm wondering if you'd play us out and give us one last song of your choosing.
I bet you're going fishing all of the time. Your baby going fishing too. Bet your life, your sweet wife, she's gonna catch more fish than you. Many fish bites if you've got good bait. Here's a little tip I'd like to relate. With my pole and my line, you know I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too. Put them in the pot, baby, put them in the pan. Mama, cook them till they're nice and brown. Get yourself a batch of buttermilk cold cakes, mama, and put that sucker on the table, eat it all down. Singing, many fish bites if you got good bait. Here's a little tip I'd like to relate. With my pole and my line, you know I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. My baby going fishing too. I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. Then my baby going fishing too. Said I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. And Caswell come a fishing too.
Tom Wopat, thank you so much. We're hopefully going to see you here in Mesquamaket in September, and by then we'll have Wopat's Dorito, the first single, ready for you to hear.
You're scaring me. I'm not sure I can come then.
I know. Hey, thanks, Tom. We'll see you next time.
Peace out. Stay safe.
Thanks. All right. So that was Tom Wopat, the great Tom Wopat. If you like that episode and the kind of star power we got on this show from Westerly, Rhode Island, give us some thumbs up. We need to see the thumbs up that you enjoy watching the show, because I think it's pretty cool that we're able to bring Westerly, Rhode Island and the surrounding area. Mesquamaket, our people love our beach and our area, that we get to bring you this great entertainment, and that these actors are taking their time out of their lives to spend some time with you. Oh, I love it. And I think, I'm not sure what we're going to hear. Ben, why don't you come back on? My producer, Ben Barber. Let's bring him back on. We love talking Wopat. Ben, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You like all that Wopat stuff? We've seen a lot of Wopat this year.
I was saying to Dave earlier when I was on the phone with him, I hung up and I was like, Tom Wopat feels like an uncle now or something. I think this was like my 5th interaction with him in under a year. And it's always fun.
He's funny because he's still got a flip phone, right?
He does,
got that cool computer. So whenever I text him, he's like, it's like I don't want to say it's like my grandfather, because he's not, but I'm saying he's one of the older school guys where you text him and then he picks up the phone and calls you. He's like, I don't want to read those texts.
It's great.
We love Tom. He is so cool. And I never would have thought, 40 years ago when I was 5 years old watching the Dukes of Hazzard, and it was on past my bedtime, so Mom wouldn't let me stay up and watch it those first couple years. I, of course, got to watch it later on towards the mid-'80s. And she'll never live that down now, but because it's going to be in the song Wopat's Doritos. So Soulstone is my band. We opened for Tom, and we wrote a song called Wopat's Doritos, which is a comedy song. And my friend Roger Walsh helped me write it. And we're going to be recording it. And so Tom is, I think, a little bit scared that what this song's going to be.
Of course he is. He's very scared.
And he should be. But
Yeah.
how many people have written a song with the words Tom Wopat in it? Come on.
I don't know, man. And also, Roger, I saw your Roger. Listen, look, I'm putting your thing up now. I saw that you were hinting at the Doritos at the beginning of the show. I'm not putting that up. It wasn't the time for that. Pick your spots, man.
Yeah,
Pick your spots. If you do it later in the show, I'll put up the quote. We can talk about the Doritos right before Tom leaves.
but here's the thing.
We're like right in the middle of the Duke story, and Roger's like, "Anybody got any Doritos?" I'm like, "I'm not."
Well, and that was what was funny about, so I'm a little kid and I'm watching the Dukes of Hazzard like anyone else was. And then 40 years later, like no lie, I sent the guy an email and said, would love to have you at one of our festivals in Musquamacut Beach. And like the guy calls one day, he's like, "Hey, it's Wopat." I'm like, no way. And so then when I realized how great a guy he was, and then like we spent some time with him, he did the gig, then we came to another gig. And then he let me sing with him, which was really totally cool. And we were like, wow, this guy is like the real deal. He's like a cool guy, doesn't let any of that crap go to his head. And we're really happy. So when we wrote the song, it was like, it just came to me pretty easy. And it was like, I think it's a good song. So here's what I want to do.
It can't be.
It is a good song. It's a good song. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a video, and I need to get Tom to basically say, I don't even like Doritos or something. But anyway, I want to see if we can get all the Dukes of Hazzard fan clubs that are all out there on the internet, on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere, especially Cody's, and we debut this video this fall and see if we can get this song airplay. I mean, I think this song has the potential for a lot of Dukes of Hazzard fans that they'll really like it. And it would be great if it made some headway somewhere on some kind of, if we could go to number 1 in Akron. No?
All right. Yeah, I think that's great. We got to go.
Yeah, we do. What's the video you're going to play us out with? It's from Musquamacut Beach.
Yeah, I was just going to, I just had the Dukes theme up still. You sing it. We got some photos of the beach and some video of the beach. So we might as well play the full version of it. It's only like a minute and a half or something.
I like it. So
yeah.
Thank you very much to my guest. I'm sorry, I choked on my tea because I was laughing too hard. So tomorrow night we have Greg Piccolo, Grammy nominated from Roomful of Blues, is going to be on the show tomorrow night. He's going to play a saxophone for us. Wednesday night, Deborah Goodrich Royce, who we all know, her and her husband built the Ocean House in Watch Hill. But she wrote this great book called Finding Mrs. Ford. She also is an actress. She was in Just One of the Guys, a favorite movie of mine from when I was a kid. She was in a soap. We're going to talk to her about all that stuff. Then Thursday night, the legendary Billy J. Kramer from Liverpool, England, who's going to share all his stories of the Beatles and how John Lennon wrote a couple of the hits that he had, like Bad to Me. He's going to talk about that. And then Friday, if you know Romeo's tune, you know Steve Forbert. He was a great star that started in the 70s and all the way through has a brand new song out right now, Steve Forbert. So we're very, very, very happy to have this great lineup of guests this week. Tonight was awesome. Tom Wopat, we're going to leave you with a Wopat video from Musquamacut Beach. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. Good night, Mom.
And if you guys want more music, check out local music on Westerly Live. We're doing Perks Open Mic. Literally, like, I should probably switch to it now. I'm not, but that's coming on at 9. So here we go. Say goodnight, Mom, again.
Good night, Mom. Here's the video.
Just
Tom
Wopat.
Caswell was not invited to jump up on stage for this one. He was earlier in the night, but not for this. He does it anyway, though.
Making their way, the only way they know how. That's just a little more and loud. Just a good old boy. We wouldn't change because no church. Everybody says to modern day Robin Hood. All right. Who thinks so? Just because. A hand for Peter Grant on the drums. John Arbo on the bass. Just a good old boy. We were change we could, that's right. We still be fight the system like you. Modern day Robin Hood.
That's it. Go home.